Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on Satoshi Central. I am your host Maddie, and I hope you're having a lovely day. It's raining in Las Vegas, Nevada. Glad that we got away from that sun for a little bit. We're a little bipolar out here with our weather, but a little rain is always appreciated. So I'd like to start by saying thank you so much, Paul, for your huge donation. It is greatly appreciated and it warms my heart, and thank you so much for all the love and support. I'd also like to thank Joey from Sats Venture for your donation as well. Thank you, Joey. And then someone who donated $7,000, whoever that is, thank you so much, and thank all of you for just being here and supporting me, watching my videos, liking and subscribing, commenting. All your love and support is just, it, like I said, it warms my heart, and I can't be more than grateful. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue going on my journey, and to have you guys along here with me is great. So for today's video, I'd like to talk about money, specifically what is money, like what do we identify money to be today? Because before, we didn't really have a form of exchange. It was more like, you have some apples? Great. I have some wool. You want to exchange? You need this, or you need some eggs for some milk? Like, that was our form of exchange before, but not everybody was okay with that. Not everybody wanted milk, or maybe you wanted to get something from somebody who was in a different state. Like, your eggs are gonna go bad by the time you send them over to those people, or your milk or whatever, Like, with that being said, I'd like to get into the characteristics of money. Because there are characteristics and functions of money that make it what it is. So for the characteristics, I'd like to start with durability, which was my previous point. What makes money today is that it has to be durable. It can't rot. You can't be having apples and then like somebody wants to exchange that in the future. Your apples are going to be good for like a week. You're not going to have any other form of exchange if you have like 100 apples, unless you have an apple farm and people know you for that and they want to, they want your apples and they're eating them. But other than that, your money's not really durable, or your apples, if that was your form of exchange, and then portability. Can you take it with you? I was watching a really great video from Joe. Joe brought up a really great point that if your family has to travel, move due to circumstances like a war or anything, then you're not just gonna go in your backyard and dig up the 500 gold bars and run with your stuff. Like, by then it's gonna be too late. They're gonna have captured you, and who knows what happens next. You're gone, and so is your 500 gold bars. So that's not really durable. Or if you're trying to like transport it for portability, transporting the 500 gold bars would cost way more if you had to pay for that service, as well as if you just had to store that somewhere. Like, not everybody would just have a huge truck to transport their 500 gold bars, so it has to be portable, durable, and then divisible. Like, our money right now, our fiat currency in the United States, we have 20s, 50s, 100s, so there's different units of exchange there for different prices. And then uniformity, does it stay the same shape and size? Is it going to change over time? And then, is there a limited supply? That is a huge key point to money, because if there's not a limited supply, then unfortunate circumstances like our great America is in will what will happen is you'll have inflation. So we need a form of money that has a limited supply so that it maintains its value. If it doesn't maintain its value, then you're going to have another huge problem. And then acceptability. Is it widely accepted? Is it recognized by different people around the world? Like, you can't exchange with people who are like, no, I don't see no value in that, because that's the whole point. For the money, for it to be money, it has to be accepted along with our 5 other characteristics. So now that we've went over the characteristics of money, what are the functions of money? So I'd like to start off by the major function of money is to be a medium of exchange. We have a common form, ours a paper bill that is accepted by everybody. That's the whole point. We created a medium of exchange that is widely accepted along with all the other characteristics listed so that it's agreed upon, and we're not kind of guessing, is the value going to change, you know? With that being said, our money also needs to be a store of value. We need to know, is it going to hold value over time? With our current monetary system, our fiat currency is not holding value over time. It used to be backed by gold until we were taken off of the gold standard, which changed everything, because with that being said, they were able to just print up how many ever dollars they wanted, and that is causing inflation. We know that one of the characteristics of money should be limited supply, because then the consequence will be inflation. With that consequence, your money is never going to be a store of value. The value is decreasing, and in our current circumstances, everybody who's not educated thinks that inflation is just prices going up because of the big corporations. Like, oh no, bad corporations. But at the end of the day, this isn't necessarily the case. If you're excessively printing the money, obviously it's going, like, the prices are going to go up because you need to compensate for this overflow of money going into the system. We're going to need to charge higher prices because our money isn't worth as much anymore. You can't buy what $100 used to get you 10, 20 years ago, probably 5 years ago now, but you can't spend that same $100 like you would have that long ago. And that's sad. That is one of our characteristics, the foundation of money. That's what it was made to be, was to store value, so you didn't have to work as hard, you know, so that you could trust in your money. And with that being said, the next factor of money is it should be a unit of account. It measures economic value. So what does our current money system tell us about our economic status? We're in debt. That's what it's definitely telling us, that we have a lot of money that we owe to a lot of people, and we're deep in inflation. We're so deep that we're not getting out, you know? And there's one solution to this problem, which we should all know, or if you don't know, then that's my goal, is to educate everybody on the solution. A solution would be a money that checks all of these characteristics and functions. Something that is inflation resistant. It's gonna hold its value over time, so you're not worried, is my money gonna buy me the same thing in 10 years? And then all the characteristics should be a basic function of money. One of the major ones to me being that there should be a limited supply. Like, that should have been known from the start, and it was. That's why the money was backed by gold. And they knew exactly what they were doing when they took us off the gold standard. They knew that they had gathered everybody's trust. We became the world reserve currency. The curtain is over everybody's eyes, unfortunately. At the end of the day, we need a better functioning money. I'm sure they're not going to go back to backing the dollar by gold because they don't have nearly enough gold for the amount of money they decided to print up and give out. So the only way is to find a new system. And like I said, or I'm going to introduce, Bitcoin is a great solution. It's a finite money supply, which will be resistant to inflation. It's durable, it's portable, it's divisible, it's uniform, that limited supply. And what we need to work on is the acceptability, but it won't be widely accepted until everybody realizes the problem. And right now, like, even though the American dollar is the best, or world reserve currency, I don't want to say best, it's only because we're still in a system where we're trusting people who have fooled us for years on top of years. And the only way out is to trust yourself, to do your own research, to find a money that checks all of these characteristics and functions that I've listed in this video. And we will go ahead and get into why Bitcoin will be that currency. But yeah, I just really feel like everybody needs to understand what the problem is first to be able to obtain any sort of solution. I watched Jerry's interview yesterday, and something great that he mentioned was the fact that to learn a new way, you have to unlearn everything that you thought you knew. We kind of have a certain mindset and propaganda instilled in our head right now, not just like me, which I'm trying to break out of every day. And I do that by studying, by learning, by educating myself on why our money is broken, and which I want to do here and share with everybody. But yeah, to understand the solution, you need to understand the problem. So I will work at helping everybody understand what our problem is. Like Jerry says, it's the best way to save, and it's the only way to save, and that's Bitcoin. And that's my favorite line from him. Shout out Jerry. Jerry loves freedom. But yeah, and another thing he says, there's no second best. Like, this is a money that checks off all the value, the values, the characteristics, like I've been saying. And yeah, but that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you guys for being here. My addresses will be in the description box below. If you don't mind liking and subscribing, leaving me any comments, I appreciate every single one of you, and sending you guys lots of love and joy. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.